Okay, welcome everybody. We're going to get into the continued volatility in the markets. I know we've talked about that a lot. I do feel like I have to keep coming back to it again. I get the emails, I get the messages from people, listeners from all over the country, and the fact that there's a lot of nervousness, if you will, about what's going on. The confidence is just not there. Okay. Before we do that, before we get into that, I have to start off today. And I was a long time resident of Southwest Florida, and God willing, in a couple of years, I'm planning on moving back. My radio show has been on almost the entire state of Florida now for decades. We've got countless listeners, clients, family, friends all over the state, but in particular in the southwest portion of the state. And certain areas down Lee County, Fort Myers, it's awful. It's awful. It's put it as Katrina-esque. It's Katrina-esque. And again, I'm hoping, I'm trying to get as much information as I can. And to be quite honest with you, we have offices down there in Southwest Florida. My brother I still have yet to be able to get in contact with him. A lot of the cell towers are still down. I can sporadically get in contact with my mom when the service goes in and out. So it's a scary situation, without a doubt. Especially what you're seeing in some of the areas a little bit further south down to Cape Coral and Fort Myers. Amazing. It really is. The utter devastation kind of, again, it puts life into, somewhat of perspective and understanding the power that's actually out there, and just, how insignificant and small we really are. But anyway, everybody say an extra prayer too for the people down there in Southwest Florida and what they're having to deal with right now. Okay. Again, I don't get it. I'm feeling like Tom Hanks in the movie Big, and he's sitting there in the meeting, and the guy's trying to explain this new toy, and it's a building that turns into a robot, and he's like, I don't get it. I don't. I never have. I've never been able to get why. Why the need to wreck the economy? We had news today come out when it comes to unemployment. Jobless claims were down. Let's use our heads here. That means less people are applying for unemployment, meaning more people are out at work being productive. Well, the conventional wisdom, the BS that's been shoved down our throats, is that the only way to deal with inflation is to put people out of work, throw them out of their jobs, and wreck the economy, shutter businesses, slow the economy down. That's utter horse manure. It is. It really is. And I mentioned this is one of the only times, Elizabeth Warren saying the same thing. However, Elizabeth Warren doesn't want to actually deal with the problem, which is what? Government spending. Well, why are we here? It's because of the nitwits in Washington, D.C. that decided to pour $7 trillion out there. Now, the Fed can wind down its balance sheet, and we are doing that right now. They are doing that right now, sucking some of this money up. But it's not enough. We could also make it easier for businesses to increase supply. We can get rid of regulations. We can give more incentives for businesses to go out there and build and create. You can't slam the damn brakes on, okay? You can't do it. You were just bloody buying freaking bonds this past winter and spring, and all of a sudden, you're slamming the brakes. You understand what this does? Did you see CarMax results today? Did you take a look at this? Yeah. Earnings per share, 79 cents. That was half the $1.40 consensus estimate. Oh, half. Why do you think that is? Now, let's get our arms around this. Let's get our arms around why this is happening. Gee, again, people needing to go out and buy a car and they have to finance that car. And all of a sudden, the financing costs have gone up. Geez, I can't afford that car anymore. I'm not going to buy that car. Coupled with the fact, it's not just CarMax. This is going to crush all automakers. How many auto companies out there have built up their inventory, built cars, when the actual stuff, the commodities to actually make these cars were much higher in price? What are they going to do? I mean, they're going to try to sell these cars, and now it's more expensive for people to buy their car. Are they going to be able to lower their price? They're contained. And right now, they're in a box too. What are they supposed to do? All it took was a little tapping on the brakes last year. Again, but that's rearview mirror. It's Monday morning quarterback, okay? The people at the Federal Reserve, I've said it again. I've been watching these people for years, okay? Name me the last time they were right on anything. I'm curious. When were they right on anything? We're dealing with this nonsense right now, and it's, again, there's just utter lack of confidence across the board with central banks. Again, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of wizards smart. Oh, I can't believe the UK did that. Can't believe they lowering taxes, looking to grow their economy. That's terrible. Come on, please. Give me a break. I mean, granted, I get it. I get it. They still have, a lot when it comes to their social policies there. They're dealing with winter and they're having to subsidize people's energy bills because prices have got out of control. But it would definitely set their economy on the right track. Let me ask a question. Do you think that if, Biden changed course and we got rid of these ridiculous government spending programs, because, again, it's a free-for-all. No matter where he goes, he's promising more money. He's at the UN. We just sent another trillion-something to the Ukraine today. Billion-something to the Ukraine today. Was at the UN last week, and he promised he's going to give to some UN fund another $13 billion. Who the hell do you think you are, man? Why don't you put on a freaking red hat there and play Santa Claus? We're gonna bail out the student loans here. We're gonna give money there. We're gonna give semiconductor companies money here. We're gonna give green company money here. And all of this is misallocated resources. All. So we've got the proverbial poop storm right now. That's reality. We are in it. Okay, we're in it. And when you're in hell. When you're in hell, keep going. Just run. Don't stop. Just keep going, okay? High-quality companies in your portfolio. Try not to pay attention to all of the poop storm around you because it's here. Again, European Central Bank. I mean, they were at negative interest rates for how long? Now, one of the ECB governors was on today talking about how they're going to raise rates. Germany's taking some of their COVID dollars. Yeah, they've got COVID bucks left over. They're gonna take $200 billion of their COVID bucks, and they're gonna try to put a lid on soaring gas prices. I like this. Prices must go down. To reach this goal, we are opening a big umbrella. What you King Canute? You're gonna stop the tides here and the waves? You're gonna lower prices by declaring and decreeing? Is this gonna reduce consumption? Is this going to increase supply? Either of these, you can do it either or any of those things. No. Subsidies never work. Anyway, this was interesting. Talking about Google searches. With the stock market well on its way to its worst year since the financial crisis, mom and pop investors appear to be losing interest. Judging by online search trends, the curiosity over stock prices returned to its pre-pandemic levels. I don't think that's so much mom and pop, my friends. Okay. I think that's millennials out there trading their stimulus checks. That's what I think. And I think that they're now broke, busted, and disgusted, and they don't have any money to trade with anymore in their Robinhood accounts. That's that's more like it. Anyway, not making this up. This is the long lines of children that occupy newsrooms, that call themselves columnists, journalists, and they're kids. They're kids. They don't know what they're doing. I read these columns. They don't know what they're saying. I mean, how about giving some of these kids a little perspective and guidance? Do you guys mentor any of these kids, these journalists, teach them a thing or two at all? Here's one. This is Washington Post. 7 ways a recession could be good for you financially. There was a politician that talked about the benefits. Was it Nancy Pelosi? Nancy Pelosi talked about, I think Nancy Pelosi was talking about higher unemployment insurance when you're unemployed, so you could stay home in your basement and work on your art. Something ridiculous like that. I gotta fully remember what exactly said. I mean, they say a lot of ridiculous things all the time. It's hard to keep track of them all. 7 ways a recession. You gotta listen to some of these things here. Number 1, housing prices may finally come down to reasonable levels. Yes, housing prices are going to come down. They are. Now, but unless you're someone that can pay cash, you're going to have to borrow money to buy that house. And interest rates are much higher, right around 7%. And that's going to cost you more. So in many respects, it might be a bit of a wash. Just saying. Saving rates are up. Yes, banks are paying people more to hold on to their money. Wow. 20-month offer certificate that pay me 3% annual percentage yield. You're still losing money based upon inflation. It is what it is. I-bond inflation rate may go up. Okay, that's $10,000 a year. You can put into one of those. Talks about the dollar being king. That's another great thing about a recession is that the dollar is king. And if you go on an overseas vacation, you're going to be able to buy more stuff. And this is Washington Post. Unemployment is still relatively low. Again, I don't know what that has to do with why a recession is good. Usually during recessions, unemployment goes in the opposite direction. So again, it doesn't make any sense or go along with their article. Oh, she talks about your used car being worth more. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But try buying a car. Try buying a car. Yeah, I have a car. I think I mentioned this before on the program. I have a car coming up due. Lease is due. And I went online. And I looked up a similar car, same year, a little bit less mileage, about 20,000 miles less. It's 2020 automobile. And the used car is right around the same price that I paid when I originally bought my car in 2020 or leased the car in 2020. I can turn around, buy my car out of the lease, and based upon the Blue Book value, make around 18-20% profit, lickety split. But I still need a car. I still am going to need to drive something, so I'm just going to keep it. Go to dealerships now. They understand. Again, why do you think CarMax is so far down? They don't even want people to. They don't even want to deal with leasing anymore. They don't even want it. They want to get the cars out. They don't want them to come back anymore. They're scared based upon what's going on. And this is what happens when you slam on the brakes. Okay. Yeah, was that it? Oh no. Oh, her last one. Student loan forgiveness is coming. Yeah. I like this. Roosevelt used his executive power to wage war against the economic emergency grip in the United States. President Biden's doing something similar by forgiving student loan debt to help struggling borrowers. Yeah. So we could stop it with a lawsuit. You're comparing FDR action to this freaking vote buying scheme. Again, this is, I know it's the Washington Post, but aren't you embarrassed? You're an editor of the Washington Post. Aren't you at all embarrassed by putting out this type of crap? I mean, you read this article, it's written like someone in high school from a school newspaper. It is. I wish. Oh God, I wish I had those school newspapers back when I was in high school. We had a great journalism professor then. He was awesome. Really was. Even my college paper when I was in college. Superior to the crap that's in the Washington Post. They don't care. It's just, I don't care. Yeah, whatever you want, just print it. Just run it. It's okay. Doesn't matter. Thinking this sub reference first or second sub reference of the day. I'm thinking of the movie Boomerang when Eddie Murphy's character, he's lovesick. He's not paying attention to his work, and he lets his quasi pervert cinematographer and ad designer do whatever he wants, and puts out this godforsaken, awful commercial because he didn't pay attention. I guess they're not paying attention at the Washington Post. Anyway, moving on. Jim Chanos speaking at the Seeking Alpha conference. I'm paying attention a little bit what's going on at Seeking Alpha. It's my job. Many of the people there, so I don't go anymore. They just pitch their book. Okay, they're pitching their book. They're there to sell something, and they're positioning, and they're very smart in how they go about doing this. Not all, but most of them. Chanos is an exception. He and I have seen eye to eye and called many calamities in the past. He's a very famous short seller, and that's what he does at his fund. But he talked about one of the biggest stories that no one's talking about except us. Yeah, we were talking about this all year, and it's still out there. And people still haven't gotten their arms around it. And he makes a point. He says, other headlines have taken precedent, whether it be Ukraine, Russia, whether it be, inflation, but the property issue in China and just how bad it is and how big it is. And they haven't gotten their arms around it and how devastating it could actually be. Anyway, happen to agree with Jim on that one. Okay. Wait for it. Okay. Elizabeth Warren out again. Again, I want you to follow along. Follow the bouncing ball with this story, kids. These people that are supposedly smart. I still can't believe that she was a professor at Harvard. I can't believe you can actually be. I would think, all right, she was a professor of law. She may understand economics, but at some point in time, and I know she did stuff with bankruptcy law. You got to be smart in this. You got to understand the unintended consequences of some of the things that you're proposing. So she has decided she's reintroducing a bill that would change U.S. bankruptcy rules and create a path for Americans to erase their student loan debt. Yep. It would create a new provision in the U.S. bankruptcy code under which student loans would be treated like credit cards, medical expenses, and other consumer debt. Borrowers could file for Chapter 10 and have their student loan balance canceled with the approval of a bankruptcy judge. Okay, fine. If that's the case, okay, yeah, you can get your credit card. You can see con artists. You go to a bankruptcy court sometime that rack up hundreds of thousands of dollars, And credit card debt, again, it's credit card companies, their fault for allowing them to get away with this and borrow all that money. And I don't have any money. We don't have debtors' prisons in the United States. They write it off. Why do you think interest rates are so high? Now, you have a credit card and you buy clothes and you buy a TV and you go out to eat and you go on vacation. All due respect, the credit card company is not going to come ask for your TV back, your clothes, and most certainly is not going to look for you to regurgitate the steak dinner that you had at Peter Luger's last night. Right? This is why the interest rates are high on credit cards. Get it? Why are they lower on homes? Oh, gee whiz, I don't know. You got a deal, okay? You stop paying on your house, they take it. They take it. You get kicked out. The bank assumes control of the home. Anyway, if Elizabeth Warren wants to do this, you know what? Fine. But then guess what? The interest on these student loans should be what? Commensurate with credit cards. Am I wrong here? Can you, what are you going to do? You're going to go to somebody's house? You're going to take their diploma off the wall? Going to take their degree away? They don't pay it back on their student loans. They declare bankruptcy? No. Yeah, make the 18, 20% on student loans. The kids we won't be able to afford to go to college. Horse manure. Yes, they will. Because colleges and universities are going to have to lower the price of tuition and fees and room and board to commensurate with the higher rates. The same way that the real estate market needs to check, or the same way that auto prices are going to have to get in line. I don't have any problem with this. In fact, it would, pretty much, and again, it's not going to happen because the federal government subsidizes these loans, and they're going to say, you can't charge kids that amount of interest. They're getting an education. Well, if they're getting an education, to get a job so they could pay off those loans. Am I wrong here? Honestly, it would be prudent. We don't have debtors' prisons here in this country. What, you're going to go to school and you're going to go to some of the finest institutions and you want to go on, and then you go on to medical school, and all of a sudden you graduate, you're a surgeon, you got $500,000 in debt, and you're just getting started? Declare bankruptcy. I'm out. I mean, again, who wouldn't do that? This is how dumb her idea is. Fine. You want to, and again, I agree with it. I don't have any problem with that. However, I don't want to loan money to kids because it's taxpayer money. I don't want to loan money to kids at ridiculously low rates because it's a risky loan that they're going to be able to file bankruptcy on, unless I'm getting what? An 18%. Give me 18%. Oh, you want to get a degree in basic basket weaving? 18%. Actually, it'd be a good way. You scale the interest rates based upon the degree. Just thinking out loud here, kids. Janet Yellen followed suit with John Kerry, says the Inflation Reduction Act's investments are mainly geared towards the longer-term issues around climate. Stop calling them investments, okay? They're not. You're just speculating and crap, okay? It's the same thing that happened with the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. You're just throwing money at the wall, and you're just going to see what's going to stick, and it's not even your money, okay? It's not. It's a good idea out there. Guess what? It'll get funding. It will. I mean, we have enough bad ideas in this country that get funding. You mean tell me any sort of good idea is not going to get money thrown at it? House Democrats introduce a bill to ban lawmakers and their families from trading stock. It's like Groundhog Day. Haven't we been here before? Didn't we have a stock act not long ago? Yeah, they put a shit ton of loopholes in that, and look where we're at today. Another one. However, take a closer look. Take a closer look at this bill. You know what the punishment is, the fines are if you break the rules and you trade stock and you're a member of Congress or you're a family member, whatever it may be, immediate family member? It's a $1,000 fine. It's a $1,000 fine. So you can make multi-million-dollar trades Oh, you get caught. Oh, yeah, you pay $1,000. Whoop-de-freaking-do. It's a cost of doing business, for crying out loud. Not to mention, they're still allowed to trade in mutual funds and ETFs. Now, there's certain ETFs that are made up of certain sectors of the economy. And if you're sitting on a committee and you have got information in regards to legislation, what's coming down the pike that's going to, either help or hurt pharmaceutical companies, you can still trade that via an ETF based upon this legislation. Okay. So you can't do the individual stocks, or you pay that whopping $1,000 fine. Come on, man. Again, if they really wanted to do anything about it, all they need to do, quite frankly, say, here you go. Here you go. Blind trust. That's it. Have to do it in a blind trust. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But again, they're not going to do that. Talking about slackers and quiet quitting. As it turns out, they've been interviewing a lot of human resources guys around the country in various different companies, and they've been doing their best Santa Claus. They've been making a list. Who's been naughty and who's been nice? Who's quiet quitting and who's actually putting the work in? Who's burning the midnight oil and who's checking out early? Because layoffs in a lot of these companies are coming. So you're going to find quiet quitting turn into quiet firing very, very soon. This story just made me sad. And again, I'm not Mary Poppins. No spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. This is the headline: Taliban signs breakthrough deal for discounted Russian oil, gas, and wheat. Now, it's discounted. Okay. Russia's still making money, right? It's discounted, but hey, we want to get rid of some of the stuff where we've got sanctions against us. We'll sell it to the Taliban. Where's Taliban getting their money from? That would be us. That would be us and other, Europe as well, by selling drugs. Heroin. It's good money in heroin, right? That's what they do. That's their main export, kids. That's what they're exporting. Oh, I know. China's working in Afghanistan and looking to mine some of the rare earth minerals, but their bumper crop, heroin. Even though, again, it's hurting. They have to compete now against the Chinese with fentanyl. Anyway, tomorrow, Putin is having this major signing ceremony in Moscow, and the Red Squares were cleaned out, and they're signing thing where they're adding all of these new provinces. Again, we had the recent referendum. How does that work? Is that referendi if there's more than one? I don't know. Whatever. Various different provinces that are bordering Russia, and you gotta love the results from these votes here. 98%. 98%. The people in all these provinces want to be annexed, want to be a part of Russia. Okay, go sell crazy somewhere else. That's not the issue. The issue is Putin. Putin said, once you start attacking our territorial integrity, all bets are off. Soon as they sign off, they have a signing ceremony tomorrow and they annex these various different territories. Then what? I mean, you're going to attack them? Risk nuclear reprisals? I don't know. But we continue to send money, another $1.1 billion in arms aid to the Ukraine. Again, God willing, it's going to end at some point in time. Anyway, buddy, have a great day. Again, a couple extra prayers, if you will, for people in Florida right now who are really dealing with a mess. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. We'll see you.